You ever feel someone looking at you before you actually see them, like you're just walking, minding your own business, and then all of a sudden you feel that unmistakable sensation, that little jolt, that pull. You glance up and there she is, her eyes on you, not by accident, not casual. Something in her gaze is holding yours, like it was meant to meet yours all along. That's not your imagination. That's not a coincidence. And no, that's not just a look. What you just felt was the power of eye contact, and when a woman looks at you like that, I'm telling you now, never ignore it. See, most guys walk right past that moment. They shrug it off, they overthink it or they underthink it, and they lose it. But what if I told you that single look, that one glance, might hold more truth than a dozen conversations? That behind that one moment could be a window into her interest, her curiosity, even her attraction. It all comes down to the language of the eyes. And once you know how to read it, everything starts to change. Let's talk. Because eye contact, it's not just about looking, it's about seeing. It's about being seen. And women, believe it or not, are masters of this language. Now I want you to think back. Has there ever been a time when a woman looked at you a second too long? Like the moment could have ended, but it didn't. Maybe she looked down right after. Maybe she smiled. Or maybe she held that gaze like she was testing something, feeling something, waiting to see what you do with it. That's not random, that's intentional. Because when a woman looks at you in a certain way, it's often a doorway. And whether or not you walk through that doorway says a lot, not just about what happens next, but about how you see yourself. Eye contact is vulnerable. It's bold. It's ancient. Before we had language, we had our eyes. Before we could say, I like you, or I'm drawn to you, or I'm curious, we had the look. Now let's be clear, not every glance means desire, but there's a difference between polite and purposeful. There's a difference between someone being in your line of vision and someone seeing you. When a woman gives you that longer than usual look, when her pupils widen slightly, when she raises her eyebrows just a bit, or even just holds that gaze with a softness or spark, that means something. And yet, so many men miss it. Because we've been taught to doubt it. We've been taught to assume that we're imagining things or that we're being foolish for believing something subtle could carry so much weight. But let me tell you, subtle doesn't mean small. Subtle just means smart. And women are brilliant in the way they show interest. They're intuitive, elegant, and quiet in a way that speaks volumes if you're paying attention. And that's what this is about. It's about paying attention. Now, I remember this one time. I was in a bookstore, just browsing, lost in a section about psychology, ironically. And I look up, and there she is, across from me, holding a book but not reading it. She wasn't scanning pages, she was scanning me. You ever have that moment where you're not sure who moved first, but suddenly the two of you are just locked? In that look, that was it. She looked at me like she already knew me, like we were picking up a conversation that started in another life. No words, no movement, just two people suspended in something that didn't need explanation. Now, what you do next in that moment, that's everything. Because eye contact is an invitation. It's not a contract, it's not a promise, but it is a moment of possibility. So many guys try to turn it into a performance. They panic, they look away too fast, or they hold it too long, too intensely. That's not it. The key? Mirror her energy. Let the eye contact breathe. Let it feel natural. Let it hold just long enough that it feels real, but not forced. Then maybe you smile, maybe you nod, maybe you just let it be. Because sometimes the most powerful moments aren't about acting right away. They're about recognizing something real when it shows up. And if it's mutual, it won't disappear. She'll find a way to reconnect, to pass by again, to linger, to speak, either with her eyes again or this time with words. Now let's step into the psychology of it for a moment. Why does this happen? Why does eye contact carry such weight? It's called limbic resonance. It's the phenomenon of two nervous systems syncing up through nonverbal cues, like eye contact. When two people look into each other's eyes, especially with interest or emotion, their bodies respond, their heart rates change, their pupils dilate. There's a subtle release of chemicals, oxytocin, dopamine, yes, even from just a look. That means it's real, scientifically, biologically, but we don't need the science to know it. We feel it. We've all had moments where someone's look hit us in the chest like a wave. So what's a man to do? You want the honest truth? Don't. Run from it. Don't hide from it. Learn to hold it. Because when you hold her gaze, you're telling her something. You're saying, I see you, I'm not afraid of you, and I'm here, fully present. You don't have to be overly confident. You don't have to pretend you're some ladies' man. Just be real, be grounded, be there, and she'll know. Now, I also need to say this. Not every look will lead to love. Not every gaze will lead to a number or a conversation or a connection. But that's not the point. The point is to become a man who notices, who lives with eyes wide open, who doesn't miss the quiet language of real interest. Because when you start seeing it, really seeing it, you'll notice just how often it happens. You'll see how many women do give signals, do initiate connection, but they do it in their way. A way that respects your ability to respond without pressure. And if you ignore that, if you walk right past it every time, you miss not just connection, you miss the entire beauty of being present in your own life. You want to know something else interesting? Sometimes that look isn't even about romance. Sometimes it's about respect. Sometimes it's about being noticed for your presence, your energy, your calm. And that kind of look, that quiet, admiring look, is just as valuable. It's a reminder that who you are matters. So here's what I want to leave you with. The next time you feel it, that energy, that invisible thread pulling your eyes to hers, don't flinch, let it be. Because she's not just looking, she's asking something without words. And the answer you give, whether it's a glance back, a smile, a nod, can change everything. So don't be the man who misses the moment, be the man who sees it. And when she looks at you like that, never ignore it, because in that moment you're not just being looked at, you're being chosen.